Hey guys, welcome back to my tutorials for HTML, specifically HTML. What we're kind of going to be leading up to is, if you've been watching my previous videos, it's just kind of getting you introduced into all the basic syntax and how to start to form the skeleton of your web page. Another part of this is to use something called divs. Now, what a div is quite simply a container. Now, this is a block container, which effectively means that anything I put within the div is going to be put into a box. With this box, I can then move it around the page as I want to. And then I can then put styling attributes onto it, as you've seen in the previous videos, via HTML, or once I start to link it up to CSS, then I can just style it using the CSS directly. And that way, everything is contained within one specific box, and that's really about it. So let me show you a few demonstrations of this. So the first thing I'm going to do is to create my HTML document. And let's go ahead and give this a title. So I'll just put my div page or something like that. And let's go ahead and save this. So I'm going to save this on my desktop, and I'm going to call this divpage.html. Okay, so if we were to go to open this up, all it's going to be is the blank screen that we already have. So one of the best examples I can think of, well, basically all web pages that you'll see will use some divs in order to contain certain elements on a page, and therefore you can move them around. You can style them as you like. So, for example, if I were to go to Facebook, over here you can see the basic layout of Facebook. You've got the logo in one corner, you've got the email or phone, you've got the password, and you've got the text boxes and everything. Now, these are all contained within their own containers, and as proof of this, if you were to inspect the page, you can see over here that I've got divs, 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 within divs, within divs, and so on and so forth. So what this also goes to show is that you can make a div, so you can make a container, and then within that container you can make several more containers. Now this is what I'm going to start to show you as well in the second part of this tutorial. So let's go ahead and make a, within the body, let's make a paragraph of text. And then I'm going to also make a second paragraph, which is going to be within a div. So I want to say this paragraph has been placed into a div. In order to create the div, we're going to use the syntax div. And to close the tag off, we're going to use /div. Now, as you can see, I've now separated or placed into a container. This paragraph has been placed into a div, which is separate from my paragraph of text. So let's save this. And let's open these two up. Now currently, these are going to look exactly the same. There's going to be no difference because I've not done anything with the second paragraph. Now, I can do stuff to it, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you now. I can go ahead and say div style is equal to color blue. Okay, and by doing this, with everything within this paragraph will now have a blue color. So let me go ahead and quickly save this, refresh the page, and as you can see here, the paragraph has been changed to the color blue. If, however, you seem to be struggling with the concept of divs and putting things into boxes, another way I can show you how to do this is by simply actually creating the container for you. Now, in order to do this, I'm going to simply just create a colored box. So I'm going to use the style. I'm going to use the tag div. Secondly, I'm just going to simply put a style attribute. I want to style it a little bit, and I'm going to save this. So I've got my div, which has been styled with a width of 100 pixels, a height of 100 pixels, with a green background, and is going to have a border as well. Now there's gonna be no information within this actual div. It's just going to be a green square, I hope. And as you can see here, I have now created a green square with a 2 pixels border black border going around the square. Now within this container, I can then start to add in more information. So for example, within here, I can now start to say something like, I can add in my paragraph and saying, let's refresh it. And as you can see, since it's contained within this container, it's never going to leave the boundaries of the container. So unlike this paragraph, which was not, which only had the color, since I've boxed this in completely and given it a width and a height, it is now restricted to this one particular green box. So the whole purpose of divs is to be able to contain information within it, and then you can start to move it around, you can start to style it, you can start to put more containers within the containers, and I'll briefly show you this in the next video. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. This is Carl from carlsapti.com.